It is January 7th, 2026, and this is the Court Gallery. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. As live as you can be. If you're watching after the fact, then we're Memorex. But either way, we're all here. In chat, it's gonna be a good one tonight. It's Middleton all night long. Blackboard is live. There's just all kinds of cases from everything. But there is no landlord-tenant, funny enough, in this batch of cases at all. But we're going to start things off with the beginning of Middleton's day, his little intro that he gives every morning, and we're going to just build through to the very end of his docket for the day. It's pretty much Middleton's whole day abridged into one little compilation, and I'm kind of proud of it actually, because it was an interesting day in the 3B. So ladies and gentlemen, get your drinks, get your refreshments. It's gonna be an interesting night, and we're gonna be in the 3B the whole evening. Judge Middleton. And it all starts right now.
All right, we're about to go live and start our day. Good morning, everyone. We've got one customer in here so far. Today is Wednesday, January the 7th. Foggy 38-degree day in Michigan. We have a lot of arraignments today, maybe a dozen if all the people show up. Have some sentences and some show causes here this morning. Afternoon, we'll be doing sobriety court. So Judge Pattison has a preliminary examination this morning. Judge Stutzman has a busy docket also, and it's just business as usual. I looked out in the area, and we already had customers in the court office by 1 minute after 8. And so we're here at 8. We're here till 5. We're open during lunch. Been thinking about our first lines. I've got probably 200 more court sessions between now and next December. It's a lot of songs, but I've got a lot of songs in my head. Sometimes they come to me the night before, and sometimes I think about it on the way in, and sometimes they're just out there someplace. As I said, the only common denominator is they're all songs that I like. And I do recommend that if you do visit Michigan, you come in the summertime. If you come to St. Joe County, it's a lot more hospitable. Michigan in the summer is about as good as it gets. All right, today's first line, everybody will know this either from the original version or the new one, but a good song is a good song. And Good luck, ma'am. Anyway, it's easy, and they're not supposed to be hard. They're just a shared moment of humanity. You got a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Again, they're all a bit stilted when I read them in a monotone, but a good song is a good song. Any place is better. Starting from zero, we got nothing to lose. I'll let this run for a minute. Miss Jackson is here today. As I said, we have about 15 arraignments. Some of the people here owe us money. We always talk about that. Everyone's going to pay all their money before I retire. Best book I read last year was Hail Mary. Still in the middle of Hyperion. Taken me a while. Also read a Joseph Haywood book. I think it was called. Well, I read a couple of them, but one was set in Russia during the Russian Revolution, which was, I think it was called Middle of Nowhere. And another one called Killing a Cold One. All right, we got just Miss Carter here. I think there are probably some other people out in the hall. This is Wednesday, so it's not a prelim day. So Wednesdays tend to be a little slower than Tuesdays, but Judge Pattison is doing a prelim today. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, I got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. All right, thanks for all saying good morning. Good luck on your boards in Wexford County. And let's get started. Mr. George is here. All right, chat is off. Live stream is on. So it's another case of sitting here, watching me sitting here. World's most boringest live stream. All right, we burned about 20 minutes, but we're ready to start. I prefer to start right at 8:15. Judge Pattison does a little differently than I do. But we're going to take first customer, and then we're going to use our interpreter. First, we're going to call Danette Michelle Carter. Would you come forward, please? Right to the podium. This is file 252576. OT. It's an ordinance case written under Sturgis City Ordinance, and the Sturgis City Attorney, Tim George, is here. Charged with driving with no valid operator's license. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Carries 2 points on your driving record. Your license has been suspended for a long time. It's expired. You've got several previous other driving suspended, and I'm not sure why you were driving around that night. Let's take a look at your ticket. It was at 10 o'clock in the morning on December 14th. Property damage accident. So you got this ticket. Would you get Jeanette and get her to come in here? Just bring everybody that's out in the hall into here. Do we have all the defendants that are here in the
I
courtroom?
believe so, sir.
All right, good. All right, this is Danette Carter. She's charged with no valid operator's license. The public defender is now with us. Ms. Carter has a case in circuit court. She's got $1,008 worth of unpaid fines and costs, including some other driving charges. Ms. Carter, how do you plead to this charge?
I'm not guilty.
The city attorney is here for Sturgis. Mr. George, this is probably actually a driving suspended rather than a no ops. There was an accident. If she doesn't have a license, she probably didn't have insurance. She's got thousands of dollars worth of unpaid fines, 6 or 7 previous driving suspended. She's bound over to circuit court on a felony case. What's the status of your felony case? Is it still pending?
I got put on probation.
Okay, so that case is done.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
well, one of the conditions of your probation is you're not supposed to violate any law, so.
I've already spoke with my probation officer about it. She is aware. Actually, I saw her yesterday.
All right, who's your circuit court PO?
I'm Tracy Shabbat. When the accident occurred, Your Honor, I was taking somebody to the emergency room. Her daughter had had a seizure and we were following the ambulance.
Well, there is a driving suspended exception for medical emergencies, so we'll take a look at that.
Your Honor,
Yes,
having talked with her and about her history and now learning a little bit more, I did suggest to her that she plead not guilty. And possibly get a court-appointed attorney. I believe that's probably going to be appropriate in this case.
all right.
Because she has more pending than I was aware of at the time, especially the probation or the.
Well, normally I wouldn't appoint an attorney for a no ops
Right.
case. The city might recharge it as driving suspended and no insurance. It's a
The van did
violation
have
of.
insurance.
What?
My car did have, the car that I had was driving had insurance.
All right, well, that's good then. We'll appoint an attorney because she's got previous unpaid traffic cases plus a number of retail frauds. Shows $1,008 going back to 2020. She has another ordinance case from 2021 for driving without a license that she hasn't paid. And if I'm just gonna give her a fine that she isn't gonna pay, that isn't very effective. So there's possibility of jail.
I was unaware of the fines, Your Honor.
Well, yeah, you are. Some of these are from 2024. All right, set attorney pretrial for February the 6th, 26 at 8:30. If I do like a bunch of jail, I can wipe out that $1,000 fine. Some of these are civil infractions and some are misdemeanors, but I can wipe out your fines with jail time. But some of these are 6 years old and some are just from 2000. You had a bunch of retail frauds all in a row. And so I'm not sure what the status of that is. All right, that's the cases you owe on. And I'll have the court officer take you out. We'll get a court-appointed attorney to assist you and we'll set it for February the 6th. See you at that time. I'll talk to your PO this afternoon and see how you're doing.
And I'll make sure I can bring a couple $100 when I come back.
All right, that would help. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Stephen Campbell here? Good morning, sir. Are you Stephen Vincent Campbell?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Campbell, you're charged with domestic assault. 2 separate cases. File 252422 alleges a domestic assault on Tiffany Webster on October 29th. File 252644 alleges another domestic assault on Tiffany Webster on Christmas Eve. You got arrested on Christmas Eve on the old warrant and the new warrant. You posted a $500 cash bond in the October case and a $5,000 surety bond in the December case. So now you have a no contact provision. Where are you staying?
At my sister's.
All right, and do we have that address? Well, don't tell it to me here, we'll get it for you. So this Lakeview address, whose name is that apartment in?
Oh, that's not the current address.
All right, where this occurred, was that a joint residence?
No, it's my house.
All right, and which is where?
428 Edka.
All right, so who's at that address?
Right now she is.
All right, but it's your
But
house?
it's my house, yeah.
Are you rent it or own it?
I own it. There should be some letters too from her with this case that she sent in. I'm not sure if you got them or
Well,
not.
those go to the prosecutor, not to me.
Okay.
So, the first incident allegedly occurred at the city of Sturgis. Let's see what I can tell about this. 428 Edka for domestic assault. She broke up with her boyfriend. He threatened to kill her. They arrived. She was upset.
It was a misunderstanding too.
All right. And then you refused to speak with the officers, stayed at his room yelling the entire time. So apparently they didn't make an arrest at that time.
They didn't even talk to me.
All right. Well, they submitted it for a warrant. The prosecutor issued a warrant. So then the second one, Christmas Eve, alleges that she came in on the 16th, said she was assaulted on the 13th. Threw her computer down the steps. And apparently they didn't do a warrant then either. They arrested you on the 24th.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, the bottom line is you need a lawyer to help you with this. She may have sent information to the prosecutor regarding this, but that hasn't made it to the court yet. So defendant plead not guilty. Appoint an attorney. Let's set attorney pretrial for 2/6/26 at 8:30. Usually these arrests are made right then. In both cases, it looks like they submitted it for a warrant. And the earlier incident, the October incident, apparently hadn't been authorized by the time the December 16th incident happened. So I haven't quite sorted this all out.
Yeah, I was arrested on one warrant, and then when I got to jail, that's when they informed me that I had been, or that I had 2 warrants. So I didn't even know about neither.
All right, well, they'll get the police reports, get victim input. Are you missing work right now?
Oh, no, I work second shift.
Good, so this won't interfere with your work. This next hearing is going to be on Friday morning, February 6th at 8:30. The bailiff's going to take you out to the court office. You're going to get the information regarding your court-appointed attorney. I don't know which one this is, Mr. Campbell. And then I want you to call that attorney and make an appointment to discuss it with them prior to February 6th. In fact, I'm ordering that you call your lawyer.
Well, I have every intention to.
What's that?
I have every intention to.
All right, I expect that you do. You'd be amazed how many people don't. They just show up that day and it's like, well,
No.
anyway, we'll get a lawyer for you and see where this goes. There are 2 cases. You don't seem to have any unpaid fines or costs. I'll see you in February.
All right, thank you.
All right, now let me repeat. There are some no contact provisions in here. You had a weapons charge at one time, no firearms, no assaultive behavior, no drugs or alcohol, and no contact with Miss Webster until further order of the court.
Yeah.
All right, you're good to go. Robert Hoff. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Are you Robert Hoff?
Yeah,
File number is 252621. You got charged with no insurance. You get lots of these every single day. No insurance is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of not less than $200 and not more than $500. You got this charge on December 16th in Sturgis, I think. Do you have insurance now?
yes,
Who's it from?
progressive.
All right. Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I got a copy of
Yeah,
it.
hold on to it. All right, there are some other pretrials this morning. We had some difficulty with these. Miss Davis, according to Judge Pattison, Miss Davis made a pronouncement that she's going to be available to do, or someone will be available to do all the instant pretrials. So why don't you have a seat? Would you let the prosecutor know we've got an insurance pretrial on Mr. Robert Hoff? He does have proof of insurance with him. All right, have a seat, sir. We'll come back to you in a minute. Now, I've got more people than are on my list. We'll keep going with the list and then we'll see who else we've got. Is Jamie Burcham here? All right, you're Jamie Jermaine Burcham,
Yes, Your Honor.
and I've known you since you were a kid. This is 252-575 OT. You got an ordinance charge of no valid operator's license. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. It does carry 2 points. We've had several of these this morning. That's probably our most common charge, no valid operator's license or driving suspended. Let's take a look at your situation. You got this ticket on December 15th at 12 a.m. Lay at Lafayette and Lakeview. Your driver's license shows as canceled. You got a couple previous charges of this. And that's all I know about it. You got a controlled substances offense in 2022. In the old days, they used to suspend your license for a drug charge. They'd suspend it for possession of marijuana, use of marijuana, and more recently, methamphetamine use misdemeanor. They took that away in the Criminal Justice Reform Act. They no longer suspend your driver's license for drug charges. But it looks like you got some old baggage on your license from here in Indiana, which caused you to have your license revoked or canceled. So how do you plead to this charge?
Your Honor, I did talk to him. He was not really sure as to why he may be without a license at this point. So he was going to plead not guilty and talk to the prosecutor and see what they told him that he needed to do.
Well, there's a wrinkle here. Late last night, they handed me a felony warrant for Mr. Bertram's arrest. So we'll deal with that here in a second.
Well, is that something that's going to impact this case?
No, but he's going to jail here in a minute. And he's going to get an attorney appointed.
Okay.
How much is my bond gonna be?
I don't know yet. I had one of these yesterday where someone just walked in and turned themselves in. You didn't turn yourself in, but you're here. But it caused issues. So the protocol is you're supposed to be taken into custody and they'll be seen by the magistrate later today. So I'll show a plea of not guilty. I said a pre-trial with city prosecutor. Taken into custody on this case 252464 FY. Let me take a look at that and tell you what it is. I had a case yesterday, Mr. Pena, who presented himself on a warrant, and he didn't want to go to jail, so he showed up here at the courthouse, and I just dealt with him right here, and it ended up causing some problems. So let's see what this alleges. That on August 31st in Fawn River Township, you possess methamphetamine as a second or subsequent offense, may get punishable by up to 20 years imprisonment. According to the affidavit of probable cause, there was a traffic stop, Plum School, you're US 12, and there was a felony warrant out for you anyway, and you had a suspended license, which was, I don't know what happened to that one. They found some gloves, a scale, some baggies, and some controlled substance. They sent it to the crime lab and it came back as methamphetamine. So we'll set a pretrial conference. I don't yet know the date. I would suggest set it as same day as your PEC in the felony case, but you're going to be taken into custody. They'll book you in at the jail and they will take your fingerprints and mugshot, and the magistrate will set your bond this afternoon. You can go with the officers. Mr. Bertram, do you have a case bound over to circuit court right now?
Yeah, I've got courtroom 16.
All right,
getting
well, we'll
probation.
sort this out. Apparently wasn't real urgent. It happened in August and it didn't get arrested till, or authorized till recently, but, sorry, Michelle, I should have given you a heads up on that.
Sorry.
You too, Jeanette. I had it last night. I just stuck it in the pile and didn't realize it until I pulled it out. All right, that's everybody that's on the list, but I've got a couple of pre-trials that are done by Mr. George.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I have another arraignment, unless I missed it. I think she's still sitting here. Tanisha Griffiths.
all right. Well, there's a warrant out for her. Somehow she got past the bailiffs without getting on the list, but we'll talk to her. Tanisha Griffiths. All right, this is a state statute case. You got a ticket here in St. Joe County, US 12 and Schimmel Road for driving with a suspended driver's license on December 8th of 2024. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Carries 2 points on your driving record. You got the ticket and then you never showed up for your arraignment in January of 2025. So we did a show cause. That didn't happen. And then they issued a warrant for your arrest. And that was Judge Pattison. No, I think so. Then you called in August and said, do I have a warrant? And they said, yes. And then you called again on January 5th and said there was a warrant and said, I talked to you last time and said you needed to get here. So you're here now.
Yeah,
So-
I tried to pay over the phone. They said I should just come into the court date.
Say that
I
again.
tried to pay over the phone.
Well, you haven't been convicted of anything yet.
Well, I had like a warrant. I was trying to get
Yeah, well-
clear the warrant.
Yeah, well, you're here. I can recall the warrant. Now you live in Riverview, Florida.
No, not on there.
Where do you live?
I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
All right, we'll get your address before you go. All right, defendant here live for arraignment. Recall warrant. Your driving record shows that you don't have a license.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a license
Mhm.
now?
Yeah, I have it on me.
From where?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, you have a Michigan license?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
You want it?
Okay, well, that changes things. Let's see if we can get a prosecutor to talk to you. The way to deal with a ticket is not to ignore it, which you did, which,
I honestly did not know until they told me. The CPS people I deal with told me about it.
okay.
And I waited till I got some money. So I was trying to pay it when I just called.
All right, well, have a seat. Hold on to your license. Mr. Hoff is in the same boat. Now, I was told by Judge Pattison, the prosecutor was going to be willing to do these instant pretrials. Which would be wonderful. The cities are certainly willing to do it. All right, we got another instant pretrial. Hopefully Abigail or somebody's available to talk to this lady. All right, so let's see who else is here. We had some other thing. We got a late start right off the bat. So let's see, is Rhonda Moser is not here. Caleb Stainer isn't set till 10:30. Logan Herrick isn't set till 11. So Rhonda Moser was set for sentencing at 8:30 this morning on a charge of driving suspended. She has failed to appear. She has other unpaid fines, which is why I delayed this. She was charged with driving suspended. She has a number of previous driving suspendeds and unpaid fines and costs. She missed several court dates. We finally got her in here. She entered a plea on October 29th. I set the matter for sentencing today to give her time to pay fine and costs. I'm gonna do a bench warrant. No bond. Judge. 48-hour hold. Ms. Moser, if you're watching this or somebody sees you, you need to get in here. I gave you a break to give you time to pay this. Apparently you didn't pay it. Now you didn't show up. All right, let's see who else is here. I might just take roll right now. Is Adam Montgomery here? Ryan Morgan? Willard Pelfrey? Gregory White? Sorry, what's your name, sir? Oh, yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Ivan Montoya.
Right here, sir.
Oh, it's a pretrial. And Gabriela Flores? All right. We heard anything from the prosecutor regarding our two needed instant pretrials? We'll deal with our no-shows here in a minute. Gabriela Flores? Good morning. Are you Gabriela M. Flores?
I am.
You got a ticket for no valid operator's license that we get 1 million of, and you also had a civil infraction of impeding traffic. Mr. Tim George, the city attorney, has dismissed the impeding traffic case. That will save you $105. And he has dismissed the no ops charge for a plea to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. There they are. Allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code is kind of a strange statute. It's good for a couple reasons. It doesn't carry any points. It doesn't get abstracted to your license and won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driving privileges. However, it is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. I'm going to give you a fine and I'm going to give you some time to pay it. So you must have done some things in the meantime. They adjourned this. In the meantime, you got your permit and now you're on the path to getting your license. You have to speak your answer.
Yes.
I say, good for you. Absent this, that probably wouldn't have the impetus to make you do it, but you've done it. So if you got a no ops, it would undo your attempt to get your permit for probably 180 days. So by this plea, it won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driver permit and get your license. Do you understand?
Yes.
Other than the plea agreement that was done here, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Or threaten you?
No.
This applies to everybody that's here. Do you understand that if you do plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Ms. Jackson is here as the public defender, but you could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished, or ask me to appoint an attorney. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Understand?
Yes.
All right, everybody else got theirs in writing, but there's 4 people here who may enter a plea, so I thought I'd just go through it. All right, were you driving that day on October 11th? And you didn't have a valid license at that time?
It was in October 11th.
Let's see what the date was. That's what it says here, October 11th, October 31st,
Yes.
Halloween. All right, thanks. Where were you going?
I pick up an elderly gentleman from a nursing home and I take him to breakfast.
Good for you. Maybe somebody will do that for me one day. I like to go to breakfast. Anyway, you owe a $100 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. The civil infraction is dismissed. Was there some sort of an accident or something?
No, it was an intersection that can get very congested. So it was a semi truck and he made too much of a wide turn. So I stayed behind the white line, but because he was directly in front of me, I waited for my green arrow so that I could then turn. So I went slightly a ways and then I turned safely. But then the officer told me that
Well,
I went over.
that charge is dismissed, so I guess we don't need to worry about that. Can you pay that fine today, or do you need some time to pay it?
I need some time.
Can you pay it by, if I give you until February 28th?
Yes.
All right, you're good to go. Thank you. If you need more time, come see us. The total is $225. The goal is to get the fine paid, not to put you in jail. So hopefully you can pay the whole thing by then, but if you need more time, let us know. All right, you're good to go. Thank you. Ivan Hernandez Montoya. Have we got any response from the prosecutor yet on those 2 pretrials?
Yeah,
No, I was talking to the staff. Yours, you got charged with open intox and no proof of insurance. Open intox is a misdemeanor. It doesn't carry any points. Your blood alcohol was 000. But in Michigan, it's illegal to have open intoxicants in a motor vehicle. How old are you, sir?
23.
All right, so you're legal age. This isn't in my queue. open intox, my old chief assistant used to say it might have been the smallest misdemeanor there was. There's some others, trespass and some others that are pretty minor, but there is nothing in here. You got stopped at 8:30 at night on November 25th. No proof of insurance, carries a $150 fine, but that's dismissed. You have a valid driver's license. You were in front of Judge Pattison and he set it for a prosecutor pre-trial. I'm not sure why they didn't do it right away. Anyway, they had one, so you had to come back. They're dismissing the no insurance and you're going to plead to open intox. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was in the car?
The beer bottle.
All right, it had some beer in it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that ain't exactly the crime of the century. What do you do, Mr. Hernandez Montoya?
I'm working in the RVs in Middlebury.
Are you missing work right now?
Yes.
So you had to come back?
Yes. Well, I missed. I missed.
You missed 2 days?
No, just today.
All right.
The last time I went to work, but I left early.
Okay. That's why I want the instant pre-trials it's much less of an inconvenience if we can do it right now and resolve it right now. And some of these are pretty simple. All right, because it was just I'm going to reduce the fine. Usually when there's a civil infraction, I make the fine 100, but I'm going to make this one 75. $200. $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. That's $200. Can you pay that today or do you need time to pay it?
I need some time.
Same thing, February 28th. That ought to be more than enough time, about 2 months. Can somebody give me some feedback on whether we've heard from the prosecutor? All right, you're good to go, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right, now I've got also a bench warrant to do, Mr. John Elmer Fox Jr. Let's see what else I've got up here. This is Mr. Hoff. I need an instant pretrial from the prosecutor.
Okay, so if you have an instant pretrial, I can take the file and put a pretrial sheet on it and then call them back.
All right, well, I asked about a half an hour ago. Apparently nobody heard me.
I thought you were talking about the pretrials that were going on.
No, I got 2 of them. So I got these 2 people that need one. One is, they're both simple. One is a no proof of insurance and the other is no ops where she now has a driver's license.
Okay.
So this goes with Ms. Griffiths.
This is pretty.
All right, she'll take the files out and have them worked up. All right, you guys just sit tight. The
Well, they
prosecutor.
can actually go into the
All
hallway.
right, go out in the hallway and the prosecutor will meet with you. All right, well, let's talk about who hasn't shown up. We'll dial up Mr. Fox. Well, we had a communication breakdown there. Good morning, the Judge Middleton calling. Could I see John Elmer Fox Jr.? All right, thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye. Well, let's talk about who didn't show up. Adam Montgomery, retail fraud, second degree. And retail fraud, second degree. 25264 SM, 25651 SM. He was arrested and posted bond. He called on December 22nd, said he wasn't able to get a ride. They adjourned the matter. There's actually a third retail fraud, 252331. So one was December 27th of 24, one was March 5th of 25, and one was 11/5 of 25.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system 517. Available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton calling from the bench for Adam Curtis Montgomery. Mr. Montgomery, you failed to appear in 3B District Court in Centerville on 3 separate retail fraud charges. I've just issued 3 bench warrants for your arrest. And I'm giving you 48 hours to present yourself on those warrants. Have a nice day. Bond is $500 cash or surety per warrant. This is multiple times that you failed to appear on these charges. All right. Ryan Morgan is a drug paraphernalia charge from Sturgis. He was at Calhoun County Jail. He might still be in the Calhoun County Jail. He is in Mount Pleasant. Let's try and order to show cause in that case first. Good morning, Mr. Fox.
Good morning, Your Honor.
When I came in this morning, I saw that you got arrested last night, and you've got several things going on. You got a failure to appear in a circuit court case with Judge Stutzman, 1923117, so you're probably gonna have to see him. You have a failure to appear in 2478. And then, what's this one?
Too many cases, yes.
They gave me this case. Your lawyer is Luke Knopfinger. It's 24787. That wasn't even on my radar. Now, the problem is to separate you from your dad.
Yeah, it seems to be a mistake sometimes.
Yeah. All right, the jail booked you in on 24787. I have that one. And 2543. Let's see what that one is. I don't even see that one in here. So we'll just deal with this one. Miss Jeanette Jackson is here with us from the Public Defender Office. I asked her to stick around when we finish arraignments to deal with this. Let me take a look at something. Checking to see whether Mr. Knopfinger was set to be here for anything tomorrow. He's not. Well, let me look, check Judge Patterson's calendar. That would be too helpful if he was here tomorrow. That would be just perfect fit. All right, at any rate, you were charged with a larceny complaint, and the allegedly occurred March 11th, 2024. The case got a lot of history in it. You pled guilty on October 24th. I gave you a notice, and then you failed to appear for sentencing. Then we went with a bond forfeiture. I'm not sure what the status of that is. So let me find this. I don't know if it's in my queue. No, they didn't put it in my queue. Let me refresh it, see if it got put in there. No, they gave me the file, but didn't put it in the queue. So give me a minute and find it. The file is 24787SM. It alleged that you stole a coat and wallet that belonged to Gerald Yoder, and you pled guilty to that. And then I set it for sentencing. You didn't show up. How'd you get arrested last night?
My bike was about 2 o'clock because someone stole my other bike. They woke me up in the middle of the night, stole my bike because I was riding around. The police seen me. And when they pulled me over, I told them, I said, you know,
What town were you in?
Sturgis.
All right, on a bicycle or?
Yes, they are.
All right.
In the process of trying to get the money, you know, when I told the officer, I was like, I'm trying to get the money up today till I can go turn myself in because I got this other warrant that I'm dealing with. And he's like, all right, well, we'll just deal with it now. I'm like, all right.
All right, well, I need to set this for sentence with Luke Knopfinger. Bond is canceled. I'm going on a trip for a few days, So I'm going to be here today, tomorrow, and Friday. So let's see if we can get Mr. Knopfinger here. I was checking to see whether he was scheduled to be here tomorrow afternoon, and he isn't. But we'll check with Luke Knopfinger to do the sentence.
I know, we were supposed to do sentencing the day I skipped it.
Say that again?
I know I was supposed to be sentenced today, I didn't make it to court. And then you said something about it was supposed to be, I was supposed to come to you with $200 for the case, and it was gonna be pretty much, you was gonna try for time served on it. But I couldn't even make it to court that day.
All right, well, I didn't get most of that. Sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher, but I will deal with this. You pled guilty, stealing a guy's coat and his wallet. I set it out for sentencing. Then you blew me off and you've been under the radar for a while. Judge Stutzman's gonna see you also. Anyway, your bond's canceled until which time we can get Luke Knopfinger in to do the sentence. Hopefully it will be in the next 2 days. All right, Mr. Fox, you're good to go.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's finish our no-shows.
We're done.
All right, Tim, thank you. I think your Willard Pelfrey is a no-show on a paraphernalia on an ordinance case, 2 of them. He's homeless. So when you do show causes, it's kind of ineffective. He has previous fails to appear. He owes $753 worth of unpaid stuff. I'm gonna do a bench warrant in each case. Next time they see him, they can pick him up on these warrants. And then Gregory White is sort of in the same boat. He's got a bunch of unpaid stuff. I'm gonna do a warrant for him also. Thank you. 252535. Do bench warrant. $100 cash or surety per file. Two five 2556. $48-hour hold. If anybody knows Willard Pelfrey, he needs to get in here. Gregory White is kind of in the same boat. He has a trespass, a disorderly person, and a trespass. He's also homeless. He also has several other things, including a retail fraud charge, which he hasn't paid on. File number 2535OM, disturbing the peace under ordinance from December 6th. A trespass from December 16th, 252593OM, and a trespass from December 17th, 252697. I'm going to do bench warrants in all 3 cases. On $100 cash or surety per file. 48-hour hold. Defendant owes $204. And file number 255549ON. All right, Ms. Jackson, I think that finishes everything. I got a show cause that didn't show up. We'll deal with that. I have a zoning matter, which I didn't realize. And I have some sentences. All right, thanks for your help. My preference is to just get everybody in here at 8:15.
You don't want me to talk to them?
Judge Pattison does it differently than I do. I just advise them, we get them in here.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see how we do, but we got through everything.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Sure enough.
David McGrew, file 242557. Oh, he's our zoning violation at 10. All right, we're gonna take a recess. We finished all of our arraignments. Oh, I still got those pre-trials percolating out there. We had a communication breakdown, getting them set up. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this, see what happens with those, and stop the record. Good morning. I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late. We just got finished with our arraignments, but we're here on the show cause matter.
Morning, Your Honor.
Montville Township versus David McGrew. File number is 242257ON. Attorney Aaron Geschwint is here on behalf of Montville Township, and Mike Hayden, their zoning enforcement officer, is also present. Doesn't appear Mr. McGrew is here. Hi, I'm looking for David McGrew for a zoning violation matter. All right, thanks. Bye. Doesn't appear that he is present. Good morning. First, I almost blew the secret of Doug Kuhlman's retirement. You had a panic look on your face. Yeah, I missed it. It was such a secret. Then I forgot to do it till it was over with. So my apologies both for blowing the surprise and forgetting to go. Were there any arrests made that night, or was it all pretty?
I think it's coming up.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
No, I thought it was like the 30th. Maybe I'm not blowing it again.
No,
I'm on the line. All right,
No.
we'll wait. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. This is a situation where the defendant had a trailer on a piece of property that was burned. And they were living in this trailer or motorhome on the lot at Cedar Court in Montville. There was a show cause order from last April that prohibited them from doing that. And this is a show cause of why they should not be found in contempt for failing to comply with that show cause order. Let me find this file. Ms. Geschwint, what's the status here today?
Thank you, Your Honor. The status is that the property is still not into compliance. The burned out structure is still on the property. It has not been taken care of. It has not been cleaned up. And so today I would be asking that the defendant have 30 days to go in and demolish the structure, clean up the blight associated with the cleanup. And then if they don't, then the township should be allowed to enter the property, bring it into compliance, and charge the costs back to the defendant, as well as $480 in restitution for the unpaid fire bill, and then $225 for reimbursement for ordinance officer enforcement fees.
White Pigeon Township was really at the forefront of trying to collect fire costs. Mr. Hayden, as long as you're here, let's put you under oath. You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
And are you the current zoning enforcement officer for White Pigeon Township?
Montville Township, yes.
Montville Township. It's a White Pigeon address, but yeah, it's
Yes.
actually in the little and non-incorporated village of White Pigeon. Now, you've provided some photographs that you took yesterday, and that's always very helpful. Are those photos true and accurate depictions of what you saw?
Yes. I would add that the motorhome is still there, however, they are not living in it.
All right, let's take a look. All right, we've got on the screen, it looks like a part of a burned out or frame of a house or building. What are we looking at in that picture?
That was taken from M103. That is the mobile home that burned in September of 24. And some debris and junk on the right-hand side of the photo there, next to a shed.
Yeah, so all kinds of stuff over here. So this is a mobile home?
Yes, single wide mobile home.
What are we seeing in this picture?
That is the same mobile home from a different angle on Cedar Court, where there was an addition of some sort there that's with it.
All right, there's a building to the right, which doesn't look to be in that great a shape. Is that part of the same property or is that a different property?
That, I believe that is part of the addition that was on the mobile home. And then that's Bank Hardwoods in the very background of the photo.
All right, but this building that we're seeing on the right, where I've got the arrow
Yes.
on it, is part of this same structure.
Correct. Or very close to it on the one side.
And that needs to be demolished as well?
Correct.
Another view of the.
Yep, that's just a different angle of the same mobile home.
And then here's a little out of focus, but is
Yep,
this a
that's the
mobile home in the back?
Yes, that's the mobile home in the back and the RV that they were living in, and then some debris and junk.
But no one's living in the RV. Is the RV plated?
No. And they have admittedly told me that it does not run. They would have to have it towed away.
And those 4 pictures were fair and accurate pictures of what you saw yesterday
Yes.
or Monday, I guess the date.
Actually, yeah, Monday, the 5th, I think is when I took those.
Photos of January 5th, 2026 are admitted as Exhibit 1. All right, Ms. Geschwint, they aren't here to argue about it. There appears to be plenty of trash and debris around there. Between your firm and Mr. Kuhlman and others, there's been an effort to clean up a lot of blight in Montville for 10 or more years. And little by little, it's being taken care of. Defendant is not here to address the issue. I grant the relief requested by the plaintiff. You may submit an order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As a practical matter, 30 days from January 7th is February 7th, and probably not a lot would be accomplished in the dead of winter. But there's a 21-day appeal period. The defendant could appeal. It's unlikely they're going to clean this up. So it's likely that it's going to get cleaned up and the costs will be spread. Let me stop the live share. 30 days to bring it into compliance, or the township shall remove the debris, building, trailer, bring the property into compliance, spread the bill on the tax roll of that property. They're also allowed the $480 fire department partial bill, $225, which I'm sure is more than less of the actual cost of the zoning enforcement fees. So I'll await the order. And do you have any idea where the people are, Mr. Hayden?
I believe they're with a family member down in Indiana, Bristol or Middlebury. I don't remember which town. But they do still get mail at that address. Nothing's ever came back to me.
All right, thank you. Stay with me. I'm going to stop the live feed and the record, and I'll address some other matters. All right, I have a sentence at 10:30 and a sentence at 11. And I got some more tough work to do before noon, but we'll complete this matter by default. All right, we are back. We've procured the services of Ross Truckee for 2 sentences here this morning on a Wednesday. Abigail Stoll is with us from the prosecutor's office. We have one matter set at 10:30 and one set at 11. So we're going to get right to our work. Where we are doing, what we're working on is People versus Caleb Brian Stainer. There are 2 files, 252330SM and 252434FY. As I indicated, Ross Truckee is here with the defendant and Abigail Stoll. The defendant entered a plea which resolved both of these cases. On November the 14th, he was charged with domestic violence and malicious destruction of personal property. The complaining witness in that case was Maria Baldridge. Miss Baldridge and Mr. Stainer have 2 small children together. Defendant spent 4 days in jail on that case before posting a bond. Bond was posted on November 17th. Defendant was arrested on, November 17th. He was arrested on the 13th. Then, a few days later, on November 26th, the defendant was charged with home invasion, 2nd degree, illegal entry, aggravated stalking, and interfering with a crime report. As part of a joint, in that case, he spent 10 days in jail. He was in jail from November 26th to December 6th. And then he posted a very large surety bond. Pursuant to the plea agreement, defendant pled guilty to malicious destruction of personal property less than 100, in file 252330, and to domestic violence and illegal entry and file 252434FY. All the other charges were resolved. The felony charges were dismissed. As I would usually do in such a case, I continued the matter to get more information and get input from the victim. So we've set the matter for today. I didn't get any victim input. According to Ms. Stoll, the prosecutor hasn't had any additional input from the complaining witness, and we're ready to do sentencing in these two matters. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Stainer. Mr. Stainer is 26 years old. He's employed full-time at Bill's in Bronson. He's from that area. He's residing in that area with his father now since these instances.
Which is where?
Bronson.
Okay.
My father's house or?
Yeah, your father's house.
It's in Baroque.
Baroque, okay.
Yeah.
I know where Bill's is. I haven't been there a long time, but what do you do there?
I am one of the more common broil cooks. I usually work on the broiler. So I
make lots of steaks.
I do. I mean, hundreds, maybe if not 1,000 a week.
All right.
So he's working there in that environment. He's got a 5-month-old and a 23-month-old, both of whom are sons in common with the complainant here. Complainant's 22 years old. It appears to me as an outside person that these are two relatively young people with two very young children and too much alcohol in their house. Both of these had alcohol as a component. Mr. Stainer recognizes that had alcohol not been involved, likely these would have resolved in a different way other than a shouting match, screaming match, domestic violence conviction, and everything else. Mr. Stainer was exposed to domestic violence as a child, and I believe he's now cognizant that that affects how he responds when presented with intermarital conflict. And that's something that he would be working on to resolve. As well, the alcohol thing. He's got here with him a few chips that he's earned since his second arrest.
What are they? 30-day, 10-day, 30-day?
It's the blue chip is for showing up the first time as the initial, and then I just yesterday at class I got my 30-day chip.
All right, well, that's a good start. People have given some of those to me over the years, my little treasure box. But all right.
He's continued to attend after his release from jail, which is really what counts to me. When you're in the jail, there's not much to do. And so getting out for meetings, fine. But he's maintained that in Bronson. Had a local church since then. And I believe that has kind of helped his overall personhood. So his criminal history is limited. He was charged with an assault and battery with an acquaintance who Your Honor is familiar with. I'll not use his name unless Your Honor wants it, but that was dismissed at a later time in 2022 or thereabouts. Outside of that, there's not a criminal history to speak of. He's been compliant with his tether this entire time. I think that the main thing in this case is we have somebody that's 26, which I'm getting older, but that's on the edge of what I would call young. Okay. And that is definitely the time where put up or shut up in life starts to happen. And this is
tomorrow we'll either do Edge of 17 or 18 by Alice Cooper.
I'd go with the Alice Cooper song,
right.
Judge. I saw him in concert and it's stupendous. But the quote he gave to me was he never had something kick me in the ass like this, because this is the time where it's like, am I going to live this DV drunk, bad example for the kid's life, or am I going to put it together and be a man? And I am hopeful that Caleb is going to be a man now. And this is the time for that. So I'm asking that the court sentence him to a term of probation designed to continue his sobriety and treatment and help him resolve the issues that led to this incident and help him find what healthy relationships may be and what is okay and what's not okay and how to handle that marital stress. Thank you.
All right, well, who's in the Fawn River Road address right now?
Mariah.
And it's your father's house?
It's not his house. It's okay. So he has a friend from a long time ago. His name's Scott Plank. He lives 2-3 hours away from here. My dad oversees the property.
All right, so he's the property manager for the owner.
Yes, that's right.
All right, and I don't know if I have an estimate of the door jamb got broken, if I have a damage estimate.
I don't know if it matters, but I did put a new flange on the door and I did fix it when I got out of jail.
All right, well, that's relevant to me. Now, you've got two very small children, very close together in age.
Yes.
Does she have help with the kids? Are her parents nearby, or your parents? Or?
Her parents are not. My family does help quite a bit. Her grandparents help out here and there, but my family takes.
So right now she's at home with two very small kids.
Correct.
And at Christmas, you weren't able to have any contact with
No,
each other.
my mom, she did release them to my mom on the 24th for Christmas Eve, and I got to see them for a couple hours, but it's been pretty limited other than that. I had them the week that I was here, the 16th, and then I didn't have them for another week. Then I just had them again for about a week. So it's kind of week on, week off through my parents. They're going and getting them and bringing them to me.
Well, that's the best you can do under the no contact circumstances.
Yes.
Ms. Stoll, Mr. O'Bear and Mr. Truckee spent a lot of time on this, worked out this plea agreement. I'd hope maybe to hear from her, but what's your input here?
Well, Your Honor, the defendant may be young, but he is still old enough to know better than to assault the mother of his children. What especially concerns me is his actions in the felony file. He violated the conditions of his bond, showed back up at the house where she was staying, the victim. According to the police report, she tried to run away from him. She was running across the yard and he dragged her back towards the trailer. And at 26 years old, that's certainly old enough to know better than to treat anyone like that. I do believe probation is appropriate. I would recommend a lengthier term of probation, possibly 24 months, but ultimately I would leave it to the court's discretion.
Now, you didn't move into this house till July of 2026 or 2025?
Yes.
So you had two kids, but you didn't live together?
No, we lived together. We were.
But you lived in a different place?
Yeah, we just came up on the trailer and it was a lot better for the kids, so.
Now, depending on which version you believe, she was mad at you because what you were doing on your phone, or you were mad at her for what she was doing on her phone. And as your lawyer said, alcohol was a factor here. I don't know that she ever sent in her victim input stuff. So you guys are gonna have to figure it out. You got two small children, you didn't get married, so she has paramount parental rights. I don't know what her position is regarding allowing you back into the home. Normally when I do a probation, I lift the no contact provision. So let's do the malicious destruction of property case first. That's the November 13th case. The domestic violence charge in that case was dismissed. You spent 4 days in jail in that case before you posted the bond. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee and a $55 fine, which equals $180. You posted a $2,000 10% bond. You posted $200. The court keeps 10% of a 10% bond, so there's $180 to apply to your fines and costs. I'll reserve on restitution. That probably isn't any. You fixed the door and your father's the property manager. But if there is, I can always amend the order and allow it. That takes care of the 13th matter. Now, the next one, 10 days later. And obviously the prosecutor was quite concerned about this. There were bond conditions of no contact, which you violated. Who are Jason and Samantha Stainer?
Those are my parents.
All right. She stated Caleb was at her house when she got home, that he kept driving by, leaving and coming back. She kept asking Caleb to leave, but he would not do so, at which time she left. When she came back, Caleb was gone, but then he returned when he saw her vehicle back in the driveway. Caleb entered the residence through a front door, which does not lock, and came into her bedroom, grabbed her by the head using both hands and hit the back of her head on the bed frame multiple times. She had bumps on her head. According to Baldridge, Caleb held her down by her arms with her legs and punched her in the face using a closed fist. Baldridge stated that Caleb told her he would beat her ass. He would give her a reason to call the cops. Took the phone from her. I mean, that's bad. She had to run out and call for help. They arrested you like over at Bronson later that night. So there's no mention here about alcohol, except it should be noted for medical reasons. I asked Caleb on a 1 to 10 scale how drunk he was, and he said a 3. Caleb said she was drunk, but I just came from Baldridge and she did not note any signs of intoxication. And you came home. Anyway, alcohol was a factor, but you weren't even supposed to be there. She's got a 3-month-old child in the house. She doesn't have time to be out driving around. By the time they finally caught up with you at the jail, your blood alcohol was 240. So this case also includes a bunch of drunk driving, where you're driving around here in Branch County while you're drunk. You got 30 days sober. I guess that's a good start. If you're both drunk, I don't know who's taking care of these very young children. But you don't just get to that high of a blood alcohol level without building up a tolerance. For you, a 2.4 is a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. I hate to think what you're like when you get to a 10. Of course, when you're drunk, you're not the best judge of how drunk you are. On the illegal entry charge from the second incident, or 10 days credit, 10 days. Concurrent with the domestic violence case. Zero fine and costs. I had really hoped to hear from her. I'm not sure what she feels about the no contact provision or how she feels about this. She also bit you. I mean, it's just bad. As Ms. Stoll said, you guys are old enough to know better than this.
I have advised my client that through my work in the family courts, this is the kind of situation that leads to foster care.
Yes,
So
it does.
I think that has also been made clear to him.
All right, on the domestic violence charge, what do I do? I don't like the fact that you were on a bond with no alcohol and no contact and no assaultive or threatening behavior. You went out and did exactly the things I told you not to do. And according to her, you punched her in the face. You were 3 times the legal limit to drive a car. Plus you're driving a car around drunk. One option is just give you 90 days in jail and see how you like that. It makes you lose your job. This deserves 90 days or more in jail. We set a very high bond, $30,000 cash or surety, was reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor, and then the bond was reduced accordingly. But I think you posted a $30,000 bond. Did you post a bond through a bonding company?
Yes, sir.
You had to put up $3,000?
$1,800.
What's that?
$1,800.
And that's all money away from your family.
I just made my first payment on the bond today.
Say that?
I said I have to make my first payment on the bond today.
Prosecutor's asking for 4 months probation. I think that's appropriate. You can be discharged at the end of 12. It's to be determined whether you're eligible for a deferral. I'm going to send you to the DV class, the full class. No drugs and no alcohol, no assaultive behavior, no marijuana. Do you use marijuana?
I do not.
I'm going to sentence you to 90 days in jail. Credit 10. Of the 90 days, 80 are deferred. Won't take much for me to pull the pin and just give you the balance of the jail. So I want you to comply with the terms of this probation.
Yes,
Fines are 0. You got enough to pay. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, $960 probation oversight fee, which could be cut in half. If you do it in 1 year, you have to pay for the class. The deferral is to be determined. I can't do a deferral in a domestic violence class without the prosecutor's, in a domestic violence case, without the prosecutor's consent. And we'll put you in the program and see how you do if you complete the domestic violence class successfully, and otherwise complete the probation. I'm sure the prosecutor would agree to a deferral. If you don't, then this will show on your permanent record. I'm going to leave the no contact provision in place until further order. I have 2 options: lift it and have her request me to put it back, or leave it in place and have her request me to lift it. But I don't want to lift it without input from the complainant. No contact remains in effect until further order of court. You are communicating between intermediaries, and that's good. You guys have done about as best as you could through the holidays. But she's never returned any contact from the prosecutor's office. And I would ask whoever your intermediaries are to direct her to contact the victim advocates at the prosecutor's office or the probation department, and I can determine what to do with this. If you don't have any, or you're not married, and you don't have a custody or support order, who's paying all the bills?
Just when I have the kids, it's on me, that type of deal.
Well, who's paying the electric bill, the gas bill at the address?
I'm not sure what she's doing. Last I knew, she was trying to move out of there. So, I do know that she's a couple months behind on the rent. Because when I was there, I took care of a lot of that.
Well, so now that you're not there, you don't have to pay rent anymore.
Well,
That's a good deal.
I paid my dad, but correct.
And your two kids are a half a step from homeless. So you don't know who's paying the propane bill or the electric bill?
I do. I would assume she is.
Well, what does she have for income?
She is a server at Judd's Barbecue in Angola.
Who watches the kids while she's at work?
Right now, with all this going on, I'm off during the week because my work didn't want to put me on all of my hours. My mom takes them quite a bit, and my dad also watches them.
She got a 4-month-old baby and she's working as a server and 45 minutes away?
Yeah, she works 5 or 6 days a week. I mean, she makes okay money. But like I said, I wouldn't know for sure what her financial situation is exactly.
What do we need a probation here? Yeah, it's like I'm dealing with two 18-year-olds. All right, I'd like to hear from her. All right, you're on probation on the domestic violence charge. No drugs, no alcohol. Test as directed. No assaultive or threatening behavior. They could also use some substance abuse counseling. I'd like you to stay plugged into AA. No contact remains in effect unless I hear from her, in which case I can lift it. At least you can talk to each other. Whether you're going to move in together, I don't know, but and you're lucky you didn't hit a tree or something. In the meantime, this does not affect your driving privileges, even though you were driving around 3 times drunk. I want you to go down to the probation department and get plugged into that. I will say your attitude has been pretty good. As Ross said at the time of the plea back in December, you're like, okay, I owned it. I accept responsibility. I don't like you punching her in the face. I don't like you going over there in direct violation of my orders. But let's see if we can make something out of nothing here. Otherwise, you'll end up in jail for a while, 80 days. All right, you go down to probation. I will reserve on the deferral question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Scott. It's downstairs. I'll show you.
Mr. Herrick here, Matt?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Good. Contact.
In assessing our drinking driving cases, Matt, as I told you, I'm going to do a deep dive into the figures from 2025. A lot of these end of 25 cases won't be sentenced until 26. We took 7 drunk driving pleas on January 2nd and 1 yesterday. So we took 8 from the probably November, December of 25. So some of the 25, but the same thing happened at the end of 24. The 24 cases ended up in 25.
The only thing that I would say is we did a flurry of cases back in November that came through the operation in the summer. In June, July, there was that one morning where it was like 13 drunk driving cases set for arraignments. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, it's like they cleared out the inbox at the prosecutor's office or
I don't know
something.
if it was just waiting for blood results or I don't know.
Lab
There's always a bunch of
reports,
stuff.
blood results,
Yeah.
accident reports.
Yeah.
For this chair.
All right, this is file 252117SD. People versus Logan J. Herrick. Mr. Herrick is from White Pigeon. He nearly killed himself on October 10th when he rolled his Mustang over and was arrested for operating while intoxicated. That matter was reduced to a charge of impaired driving. And the matter was set for sentencing this morning with Mr. Truckee. Matt Huff has prepared the screening report, which is very helpful. Also, Abigail Stoll from the prosecutor's office is present. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know in this case?
Thank you, Your Honor. You might want to check his ID, but he's 19. He looks a little older, but he's 19.
I never had that problem.
And this report reads like a 19-year-old who's making a mistake. He'd had some relationship issues. He's living with his sister. He goes over to his pal's house and they're splitting wood and drinking Busch Light.
That sounds like a country western
I was
song.
going to say it if you didn't. And on his way home, he's traveling through the thick deer country, makes a swerve to avoid a deer, ends up shiny side down on his car. He was almost killed. This could have been fatal. Convertible and a rollover accident is a frightening thing. And too often you see a 19-year-old who ceases to exist in this very situation. But Mr. Herrick has taken it seriously. He's not consumed alcohol since the offense date. He was fairly compliant with the officer. He denied an initial roadside, but he submitted to a blood draw. Been up front with me, recognizes that this was a mistake, shouldn't have happened. One nice thing that I'm impressed with Mr. Herrick about is he works full-time as a concrete finisher, which I'm Truckee, and that's deep in our blood here.
Yes, it is.
So I'm happy to see that he's employed full-time in a job that teaches you how to work for real. And he travels pretty extensively for work. It's down, I think the base is in mid-Indiana or Shipshewana, but there's a lot of jobs that are done farther south in Indiana. So even in the screening, he had trouble completing it because he was in the middle of a pour. But he's shown a good work ethic. You know, he gets out of high school and immediately gets going at it to make a life for himself. He's him and his sister are considering a move down to some town I've never heard of in Indiana. What is it, Logan?
It's a weird name.
Kelmer or something?
Yeah. Weird name, Indiana.
But he's considering a move out of state to be closer to his employment. I don't see any red flags. I didn't encourage him to go to treatment because I didn't see that this was anything more than a one-off. There's none of the red flags that you
There are some studies that show sending young people to treatment, if it is just a one-time mistake, may actually do more harm than good. But I'm not sure what we're dealing with, but he is very young.
Again, no criminal record. This was, I think, an eye-opener for him. And the reality is, even if you think you're fine to drive, sometimes things intervene, like deers or kids on tricycles or God knows what. So I think this has sent a very strong message to him. His sister's here in support. She's kind of playing a parental role in his young adulthood here. And I would ask that the court consider any time that he spent in jail, as well as an appropriate fine. He is gainfully employed.
Are you doing concrete here in the middle of January?
Yes.
What are you working on?
And basements, porches, garages, driveways, chicken barns, whatever they can find for us.
Is this an Amish company?
Yes, yes, sir.
Do you come from an Amish family?
Yes, sir, kind of. I have the Chuck last name too, but.
Well, are you in Rumspringa, or you're just not in the church right now?
No, my grandpa left the Amish.
Okay.
The other thing I would like to note is, Mr. Herrick, if the court wants to impose a jail sentence, would ask that it be scheduled so he can maintain employment.
All right, I read this last week, Matt, and also again yesterday, and I'm on the fence. We'll hear from Ms. Stoll, and then we'll hear from you. Abigail, you have any thoughts on this one?
I believe the sentencing recommendation is appropriate, and I ask the court to follow that.
Thank you. people often have opinions about what sentences should be. The judge should throw the book at everybody, or they didn't give enough time, or he's too soft, or he lets people go. There's a statute that was implemented with the Criminal Justice Reform Act that says in non-serious misdemeanors, there's a presumption that the people won't go to jail or be placed on probation. And in somebody's wisdom, drunk driving cases are included in non-serious misdemeanors unless there's an accident or some other aggravating factors, at least as a first offense. In this case, there was an accident. His blood alcohol wasn't outrageous, although we tend to minimize. The last guy punched his wife in the face. He's a 240 and he's driving around. You're a 132, which is quite drunk, especially for someone that's not old enough to drink. That's quite a few bush lights. You're a big guy, and that's probably 10 or 12 bush lights. And he almost took your life. What I'm vacillating on, Matt, is whether to just do a jail sentence scheduled. He could barely get here for the screening process. And I fear if I put him on probation, I'm just setting him up to fail. What's your thought regarding that?
Yeah, I mean, the report outlines that concern as well. That was my concern with Mr. Herrick, especially just given the nature of his job and how we weren't able to meet as efficiently as I typically do. In regards to what the ultimate sentence should be, I have someone on my caseload now who's back for an OWI second. I'm not saying this is what Mr. Herrick's going to do, but you mentioned the statute and how it kind of cookie cutter molds a sentence for a slap on the wrist, so to speak, for some people. It's my opinion that young man is back because he got time served, fines and costs, and it didn't leave as much of a sting as it should. So regardless as to whether or not he participated in a probation, I don't think that he would be that successful, not of his own lack of desire to complete probation, but he seems to have something good going in his occupation. He wants to work with that company, and I don't know that he'd be able to make it back and forth from Indiana to.
Well, particularly if he's going to move down there.
Yes. So, I mean, if that's the case, I think that perhaps scheduled jail would be more appropriate. That's where I would refer back to that reasoning as to, I think there has to be something to remind somebody, hey, you don't want to come back. And it's easy to forget when you're in the drunk tank for 6 hours before being released.
Well, Judge McManus, as I've discussed many times, had the theory that everybody ought to spend one day in jail drunk and one day sober. And that was the policy here for many, many years, even after I took over 23 years ago. But you can't have a one size does not fit all. And so you can't do that as a policy. Everybody gets one day. You have to view each case on its own merits. Also, that statute that I mentioned from the Criminal Justice Reform Act was placed in effect. And there's a case from the city of Auburn Hills that says we're supposed to do district court sentencing proportionally. One judge got reversed because they had a policy where they gave every driver in the particular case. In that case, I thought the judge was well justified in imposing the sentence that was justified based on the facts of that case. But they got every other case and looked at all the other cases and found that they always got jail for such an offense. Anyway, having said all that, I'm going to order a $300 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee. Sheriff's Department did do a police reimbursement, good for them, $255. We're gonna do the victim impact panel, which is $32. Let's add that all up. Your brother-in-law or somebody was there to pick you up. Where did they come from? Your house on Harder Road?
Yes, on Beers Road.
Beers Road?
Yeah, it right down the road from right where I wrecked. It's a left-hand turn.
Okay. I think that's $962. Let's try it again. $300 fine, $125 in state mandatory costs, $100 screening fee, $150 that pays for part of your attorney fee, $255 police reimbursement, and a $32 cost for the victim impact panel. I screwed it up, 300.
I've got 962.
All right, 962. I'm gonna order 2 days jail, credit 1, leaving 1 day to serve, which is gonna be scheduled by the probation department under the 1 day sober, 1 day drunk, make you not want to come back. I don't know what the right answer is. I mentioned a little earlier that putting young people into treatment, who really I don't have a terrible alcohol problem, can be counterproductive. And Mr. Huff mentioned some cases where there was not much of a consequence, and then the people got arrested again. And I don't know if that's because they have a predisposition to susceptibility to alcohol. When I used to talk to different groups, and what I would say at the victim impact panel, if you're gonna drink, don't drive a car. I'm not telling you that you can't, you're not on probation. I'm not ordering that you not drink. You're not old enough to drink or use marijuana, but I'm not gonna test it. I'm just gonna give you a day in jail and a $962 fine. That's due by March 1st of 26. And the probation department's gonna schedule the weekend and your victim impact panel. You're working, you've got no children, you should be able to pay that $962 by then. All right, here you go, Mr. Huff. And schedule that jail time
Thank you, Your Honor.
in the victim impact panel.
All right, there you go. Take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you. All right, I wish I don't see any more. Maybe if you move to Indiana, no judge will see you there either. All right, thank you, Ross. We were able to use your time today. Thank you, Abigail.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Hi, what do you have?
I grabbed the guys put on probation.
All right.
You only bring both.
Yeah,
Thanks, Debbie. I thought Angelique would be here for that senior sentencing.
Oh, she's busy, but
I said, get ready. She's gonna ask for a year in jail. Thank you, Judge. Have a good
Thank you.
rest of your day.
All right, we got a rest of the day. All right, that stops our live feed. Thank you all for participating in this. 2 sentences without a clear, correct answer, which is often the case. So I'll stop the live stream. And unless we have an emergency matter, I won't be back until tomorrow morning.
And no emergency matters were seen for the rest of the day, which is a good thing. That was the end of Judge Middleton's broadcast for the day, but it was a full docket and it was an interesting docket. Lots of interesting things. I thought the last 2 cases were some of the best of the whole set. Lots of shared humanity moments in amongst all that. Anyway, I am your lone wolf Usul. I am your curator for this here channel of judicial mumbo jumbo. I am your host for these here little get-togethers where we watch court every single night, and I'm gonna be doing it again tomorrow night, just like I did it last night and tonight. And we'll be live because this internet is rocking these days, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight and talking in chat. It's been fun. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy the internet's working too. Lord have mercy. That was some trials and tribulations. Thank you, Xfinity, for finally fixing your stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, come back and hang out with me tomorrow night around 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Like, subscribe, do all that type of stuff. And you know what? I'm going to say I'm your Lone Wolf Weasel, and Lizette, it was great to see you. Barry, great to see you. Patrick, great to see you. Kiernoff, Mama, Rhonda, A2, Bella, Donna, Lady Wolf, and everybody else on the screen who I can't see. Bermiticus, you count. Marty, you count. All of you count. Even our lurkers count. Thank you very much to KFAR for the raid earlier tonight. That was amazing. Crazy, right? Guys, wrapping her up. Closing the camera down. All that's left is that crazy, crazy, crazy Ferris Bueller reference. See you then. Oh, and you know, and most especially, I gotta pipe the music down just a little bit and say, Wixom, Terry Bosworth, you crazy folks in your super chats, amazing, thank you, and woo! Y'all rock. Y'all rock. Thank you very much. Now, back to being weird. If you're still here and you remember the 1980s, back before there were Marvel movies, and there was this little movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he would come on the screen and he would say, "But why are you still here? Show's over. Go. There's nothing else to see. Movie's done." In this case, court is done.